Three, two, one. Woo! Yo, what up? Welcome in. Much love, Trav here. Mono Black Zombies is God tier. Tier 0. This deck is fucked up. Good. Welcome in. Much love, Trav here. I'm here in Richmond. No, I'm in Baltimore. It is Wednesday. It is 9 days before the Pro Tour. If the Pro Tour was tomorrow, I would play this deck. Bold prediction, this will be the deck of the tournament. Extra bold prediction, this deck will be the most played deck, and the best performing decks will be this deck, and decks that are main decking cards to beat it, such as Sweltering Suns. I just won my last 8 matches with this deck, so we'll go through that. Just 5-0'd my league, maybe it gets published. It's 9 days away from now. By the way, I'm in the Friedman residence. He's inside firing up a draft, so we'll go and check that out. As we watch the matches, go through how to play this deck. A lot's going to change in 9 days. You know, right now it's a 4-deck format. We have Zombies, Mardu, Marvel, and Control, Blue, Red, Blue, White. 4 is a lot more than 2, so it's reasonable. Green, Black, I guess is the 5th deck, so maybe there's 5 decks, which is okay. And Zombies is really the only new one. So when Wizards of the Coast does their job, the Pro Tour is the promotional tour to sell the new cards, and the new cards will do well, and the new cards make the best deck. This is hard for them to do because they need a new deck that's better than the old decks, hence power creep tends to be a thing, or they try to do key rotations, or print hate cards for the old decks and no hate cards for the new decks is a common thing they do. I think Wizards did their job this time with Zombies, that it is better than the old decks. Therefore, you have to buy the new set to get the new zombie cards. Therefore, the new set will sell. Therefore, the Pro Tour will highlight it. However, they also want to have new cards to go in the old decks. New cards for Marvel, new cards for Mardu, new cards for for Control especially. So there's that as well. It's not like Mardu's not good anymore, or Marvel's not good anymore, or Blue Control is not good anymore. It's just that Zombies is very good by design. And usually at the Pro Tour, I mean, I think people will be surprised by how big this thing is and how much it shows up. And by the way, again, this list is 9 days old, more by the time you see it, so my new list will be different. Maybe it'll be black-white. Maybe I jumped onto an anti-zombies deck. I don't know. But let's talk about what the deck does and why it's so good. And let's go move inside in here, do a deck breakdown, talk about why the deck's good, and then we'll go replay some of the matches, show you this 5-0 league. It's going to be great. We got Ben over here.
Yo, what up, people? We're firing off a little draft.
Firing off a draft. We've got Richmond, GP Richmond as well, in the Pro Tour to prepare for. Okay, so what makes this deck good? First of all, it is first of all, it's almost all rares, right? You have 8 rare 2-drops. You have 8 rare 1-drops, 8 rare 2-drops. Some of them are mythic. Your 3s are rares, and your Lord could be a rare. And then you have rares 5-drop rare removal. Fatal Push is the other uncommon, which we know is a secret rare. And then Abbey and Swamps. So this is a built deck by Wizards that's clearly pushed. They're like, we need more rare 1-drops for this deck, more rare 2-drops.
Speaking of rares.
Yeah, we have Glory Bound Initiator cast out over here.
I think I'm going to take the 2-drop.
Yeah, it's really good. So, who designed this deck? Wizards designed this deck. So I saw someone with a very similar list, and I net decked it, and I've modified it a little bit, especially with the sideboard. But pretty much just, I mean, you know, this will get annoying probably. It's like, it's very obvious. It's very linear, like it's built, it's designed for us. The only questions are black, white, or mono black. I think black-white is reasonable because the black-white drain zombie is perhaps better than Mimic. I don't really like Mimic, even though it's a rare. The problem is I don't like any tapped lands in this deck. Shambling Vents is fine, The black-white land, untapped land is fine, but I want to be casting this stuff untapped. So there's going to be 2 zombie decks. You have the mono black that goes up to 5, and the black-white deck that stays under 5. Because once you have the black-white fast land, you don't want 5 drops in your deck. You want to top it 3. So there'll be multiple versions of this deck as well. Okay, so what is this deck? Is aggro mid-range control? To me, it's a mid-range deck because while it's very aggressive and fast, it's also great at winning the long game. I'll use Crypt Breaker to draw extra cards whenever possible. Relentless Dead recurs. Dread Wanderer recurs. Scrounger in the main or the sideboard recurs. Colossus and Lord flood the board and let you win a long game. Between Dark Salvation, Fatal Push, and Grasp, you have tons of removal. Liliana's Mastery gives you a good late game. So I find that sometimes I'll win the late game by blitzing them, but it's more often that I will win the early game rather. It's more often that I win the late game with massive chunks, just adding more to the board. Suddenly you've got 2 Lords, Liliana's Mastery, 4 zombies, etc., etc. So let's go through card by card. Crypt Breaker is an insane magic card. It's been great, obviously, and it just needs support. I mean, it's a little Planeswalker, it's a little Deathrite Shaman. It gives you a lot of options, something to do with your mana. If you don't have a 2-drop zombie, it lets you use it. If you draw too many lands, it lets you turn it into something good. If you draw too much removal for the matchup, it lets you do something with it. And then it lets you draw cards without using mana. Tireless Tracker requires mana to draw cards. Crypt Breaker, you can attack and you have to pay life, but it's pretty dumb when you have like 3 zombies in play. By the second turn, you just start drawing cards. Or you keep creatures back to play defense, and they're also drawing cards. You can draw a lot of cards, pull way ahead with that card. Dread Wanderer is a new one. 1 mana, 2/1, enters the battlefield tapped. Zombie Jackal. 3 mana, sorcery speed, return it from your graveyard to play. Obviously, it's just great. Good 2/1, and it recurs, and it's zombie. 4 push. You could mix push and grasp. I think push is better just because.
Higher rarity.
Yeah, higher rarity. It's the modern card. Yeah. It's the vintage. It's the legacy card. I prefer push to grasp, but I'll board grasp to kill like Kalidas and Gisela. But those aren't as much main deck cards. And you can still. I mean, the one thing push is really not killing is Avacyn, but that's so slow. Anyways, and the deck's very black greedy. Like it's hard to cast grasp and Relentless Dead. Okay. We have the Mimic, Zombie, again in mono black. There aren't a whole lot of good options here. And then black-white. I'm not really sure if the Drainer is better. The second toughness is the big thing it adds so that we're less vulnerable to Liliana. And with Lord, it has 3 toughness, so we're a little bit better to Kozilek's Return and Flaying Tendrils, which is one of the ways people would try to beat you. And if you have 2 Lords, then, or a Lord and a Liliana's Mastery, that would have 4 toughness, and you're even safe from the other stuff. That said, like Mimic can give you some defense against Ko's Return as well, because once you play Mimic, your zombies tokens off Diregraph are 3/3. Your Relentless Dead that comes down is a 3/3. And then Relentless Dead is quite good. It's impressed me. Menace is good and constructed as well as limited. It's good at pressuring planeswalkers, just forcing through some chip shots. It gives you defense against sweepers, which is one of the ways people would try to beat you. If you leave up a mana, you bounce it to your hand. If you leave up a couple mana, you can bounce a Dread Wanderer, a Crypt Breaker back to play, a bunch of mana. So you can play around sweepers in that key turn. Very good. Or hold it back to chump. You 2 Relentless Deads for 3 mana. You can put the other one into play, put this one into your hand, and actually return your whole graveyard, because every time you're Relentless Deading, you're getting 2 zombies. Is that right? Yeah. The first one dies, and it returns the other. They're both in play now, or in your hand. And the second one returns something else, and then the first one returns. So you can return all your zombies with 2 deads. Good in multiples. Lord, I don't know why anyone would cut this. It's your Lord. It has a 3rd butt also, which is very good at protecting it from sweepers. And if you have 2, good luck. Obviously, people can fumigate you, but I mean, between Dread Wanderer, Relentless Dead, you're generally going to be okay. Menace is also quite good, because eventually you have such a big board, you can menace and either kill their planeswalker or just kill them. Diregraph Colossus, another fucked up rare. enters the battlefield with a +1 counter for each zombie card in your graveyard can be quite big. And whenever you cast a zombie spell, you get an extra 2/2 zombie token that's tapped. You can have starts like play this on the 3rd turn, and the 4th turn play another one, get a 2/2, play a Crypt Breaker, get 2 more 2/2s. They come into play tap, so you can't draw the card immediately, but this thing gets out of control fast. Liliana's Mastery doesn't make sense for the black-white decks to play this because they have the tapped lands, but this card is so powerful. Worst case, it's 6/6 worth of bodies for 5, but usually it's way crazier. It's crazy. Protects your creatures from sweepers. Even if they sweep, you can play this after. Gives you tons of punch to beat cards like Ishkanah, beat Gideon that's been in play forever. It's an Anthem and 2 bodies. It's crazy card and worth playing. Dark Salvation, another rare that's incredible. For 1 mana, you can kill their creature. For 3 mana, you can make a 2/2 and kill their creature. For 5 mana, you can make 2/2/2. 7 mana, you can make 3 3/3s. Very, very flexible. Gives you a lot of options. Something to do 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 mana. Really incredible. Never side this out because it's up to 1 creature, so even if they have no removal, you can still play it for 5 and get 2 zombies. Unbelievably good card. Then 22 lands. I choose to play Abby. It's a rare. It's proven. It's good. We have a lot of zombies. It's not particularly great in this metagame because Cast Out exiles it, which is common. Some people are playing Deckenstone, which is good against our zombie plan as well. Some people are playing Anguish Unmaking, Nahiri, Ulamog. Yeah, there's so many ways to exile it, but it's still nice to have sometimes. Or, I mean, you make it and the opponent might be able to Dark Salvation it, so it's not the best, but it's probably better than the common that makes a zombie. And then sideboarding. This is unclear. Like, Force Grounders to me are kind of a must because you want to grind out. People have lots of removal. Your synergy starts to break down, so I'm commonly boarding out Mimics for Scroungers. Maybe we're talking about even making that main deck change. It would open up 4 more sideboard slots, which would be nice, but I like the synergy of Mimic. Transgress the Mind, I like anything mid-range, green-black. You know, Magic's changed, and you don't really want to slow down to play this, but it's nice to take their Ishkanah, take their Torrential Gearhulk, take their Marvel. I'm playing Dispossess for Marvel now. It's this or Lost Legacy. Problem with Lost Legacy is sometimes they like still have Worldbreaker, Torrential Gearhulk, Linvala, Gisela Bruna. They're doing a lot of stuff like that. So, Dispossess, yeah, you have to play it before they Marvel, but if you take their Marvel, it's pretty crippling for them. They can win, but it's pretty hard. And also, you take it from their hand, they don't draw a card, so that's nice. I'm playing a few Grasps in the sideboard. We want up removal, and I want to kill stuff like Kalitas, and Gisela after sideboard, and Avacyn, so that's nice. Playing my own Kalitas as a way to, theoretically, it's like good in the mirror match, or like, I'm not even 100% sure. It's kind of slow, but you play it and you start attacking their stuff. It doesn't require synergy. It's kind of hard to remove. Play an Obnyx and a Liliana, so I have some resilience to sweepers, and also so I just have more removal that are also at the mythic rarity. So that's the deck. It's super good, and I mean, I'm going to test black-white as well, probably, but and I might play something else. This is likely the deck that I'll play. I think that you can beat it. I mean, it's possible to beat it with Mardu. It's possible to beat it with Marvel. You have to be lucky with Marvel sometimes. A key card is Sweltering Suns versus this deck. It doesn't guarantee, but the 2 mana sweepers are just not enough. Fumigate's good. It's a little bit slow, but usually you have time to play it against this deck. So if people want to hate it out, they can. I just don't expect that. I think most people will be surprised how much it is and aren't going to be like main decking tons of stuff versus it, at least at the Pro Tour. As the format evolves, sure. But I would rather be on this side doing the proactive early late game stuff than a main decking Sweltering Suns in a format that might be 1/3 Marvel. Like, it's just risky to metagame too much, and this is just a strong deck that can win anyways and is aggressive. So go ahead and show you my game history. I've played 10 matches so far. Pull this up. I lost the first 2, And you can see this league, I've won the last 8, including a 5-0 league, so maybe it got published. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so let me take you through this 5-0 league here. And bam, slow roll. I knew this was going to happen. We apologize for the inconvenience, but Magic Online has encountered a problem. Magic Online may need to restart before you can continue playing. So, shit's bugged. It's really irritating, but my games replays don't work, and since they're not hosted on their server, if I uninstall and reinstall Magic Online, my games will be wiped, which has also happened before. So right now I'm forced to make a scathing interview of Magic Online. I want to use it to prepare, and it's reasonable for preparing, but you could also do this on Cockatrice for free and have more control over what matchups you get. And Cockatrice will not give you match replays, but they won't promise to. And it's pretty fucking annoying that I have to keep uninstalling and reinstalling Magic Online for it to work, because I don't have that problem with any other issue. And people are like, check the specs of your computer. It's like, I just have a standard, like, regular laptop, right? It should work with everything. I don't have this issue with any other program, like uninstalling, reinstalling Chrome. And those are free. I'm paying a lot for this. So I think the lesson here is, look, we know that Wizards has known history of paying their employees, their software developers, less than the market rate, like in the range of 40 to 60,000, where right in Seattle, north of Renton, you have Facebook, you have Microsoft, you have Amazon, you have Google Office as well. I mean, you have all these tech jobs that are paying 6 figures. Of course, Magic Online not doing that, and even worse, I had friends in there who experienced this, and we just saw, I mean, this is not just Magic Online, but R&D as well. They love to give you a 6-month contract and not tell you whether they're going to renew it or not until the last day. And we saw recently Melissa DeTora's, like, I finally got hired on. Congratulations to her. But how long has she been there? Like 2 years of 6-month contracts being renewed? Yeah, it's fucked up that they do that. And they're known to do that for their software devs as well. So, like, you have people who want to stay there even for the shitty pay, and they don't renew it. And that's why they have a shitty product, because if you treat your team like shit, you get what you pay for, except if you're a Magic Online user, you don't get what you pay for. You get less than what you pay for. Boom. Bang. Burn, roasted. So, I'm sorry, but there's going to be I would like to replay all 8 of these matches for you that I just won 8-0 on and show you how to play this deck, but I can't do it. So, here's what you can do. Tweet at Magic Online, tell them you're dissatisfied, as I am, because they actually, one thing Wizards does reasonably well, it is make adjustments to criticism. This isn't particularly true of Magic Online. Like, maybe they've tried, we've got rares over here. I don't know.
Gotta take that.
White Monument is really good in draft. But it's just, tell them that, for one thing, it would be nice if the replays were stored on their server, so that your shit crashes, you have to uninstall, you don't lose your replays all the time. Although the thing is, like, I know that they don't have the server capacity for that. They've got like one computer that they shut off on Wednesdays to run updates on. It's pretty fucking embarrassing. And the main takeaway is, treat your team better, treat your team well. Give them, respect the market rate at least, but I think even more important is, like, giving some security, like a little bit of, and saying, like, hey man, we'll talk about it again in another 6 months, maybe we don't want you, I don't know. I think that's a lot of the problem here. I've heard that they're, like, better, they pay a little bit more now, but I mean, you have 10 years and a reputation for this, and you look on Glassdoor, it just shits all over Wizards of the Coast. It's, like, not a great place to work. I've been there, and Renton's not a great city either. So, I do have, however, some a few recorded matches coming, so you'll be able to watch that. But unfortunately, these matches that have happened are done. So you're not going to get to see how I won the last 8, and I'd love to show you. So go tweet at Magic Online, tell them you're dissatisfied, I'm going to wait a day and hopefully they tell me how to fix this. Otherwise, I'm going to restart or uninstall Magic Online, and these will be wiped forever. So I'm making the mistake of holding out a little bit of hope, but we'll be back with some replays, and I'll also be back with in-person deck tech, and we'll talk about how the deck's changed and evolved in the 9 days between this and the Pro Tour, and then we'll also look at the Pro Tour results if I'm right or am I wrong about the metagame. My prediction: I think Zombies will be the most played deck, and I think the two best performing decks will be Zombies and decks that are clearly metagaming versus Zombies by playing stuff like a lot of Sweltering Suns and Fumigates. And I don't think Kozilek's Return and Flying Tendrils are really enough. Kozilek's Return is perhaps more than enough. The best performing Marvel decks will play Kozilek's Return and or Fumigate in the main. So
or Suns.
Yeah, or Suns. So we'll see how it goes. It should be very interesting. And we'll see if I even play this deck or if I play some metagame deck. But again, it's like pretty risky for a Pro Tour when like a third of the field just won't get the memo. A third of the field will be like, yeah, I played against it online a couple times. I thought it was bad. You know, they got lucky and drew. It's like a lot of people just won't respect the deck till after the Pro Tour. I've gotten that. People like, deck's bad, lucky draws. It's like, well, you're the 8th straight, so maybe that's not true. Anyways, much love. Let me know what you think in the comments of this deck, and I've got lots more content coming, so stay tuned, and peace out.